Now, I have given you a statement and told you that triangle ABC was congruent to triangle DFE. Now, that's one of the most important pieces that you got, because it's telling you what matches to what. Now, you're going to use that to match up all the pieces over here in your actual triangles. So that's what we need to do. So I'm going to use this. So I'm using this right here that I just underlined. So what piece came first? I've got A came first over here, and D came first over here. So since A and D were first in both, that means they match up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a blue mark on A and on D. That tells me that A and D are the two angles that match up. So use one of your colors and match up A and D. Use the same color. Don't use two different colors on A and D. Use the same color. Now, what was the next letter?
B and F.
The next letter was B and F. So use a different color now and put a mark on B and F. So now we know that B and F match up. Those two pieces are congruent to each other. And then we know the same thing about the last two pieces. The last two pieces are C and E. So that means I'm going to put an orange mark now on C and E. So I know exactly which angles match up. They go in order. So this is what you're going to do every time you have one. So if you're at home, you can use a colored pencil. You can use a crayon. I don't care. Just match them up so you know exactly which pieces go together. Now, when you are looking at these, you need to find two angles, one in each triangle, that have something written in them. So if I look at the two blue ones, do both of these blue ones have something written here? No, only this one. So if I go and I look at my purple ones, do both of these purple ones have something written?
Yes.
Yes. That's where I need to start. So I'm going to start where I've got something written in both. Because if I look at C, the orange ones over here, they don't have anything written on both. Only one of them do. So I'm going to go back to my purple one. So I'm matching up the purple ones. So write an equation. So if I match up the purple ones, I've got 8y minus 5. That was out of the bottom triangle, and it's going to match up to what? 99. So I took the bottom angle and I set it equal to the top angle. Now again, it's just a regular equation. So how do I solve this and get y by itself? Add 5 to both sides. So now I have, hey, let's kindly stop writing on my pens or your pencil or everything else. That's not what those are for. You're supposed to be solving this problem. So 8y equals what? 104. So now as normal, we should be dividing by 8. So y equals 13. Now, that's all it asked me to do, was to find x and y. So I already have y. I already have one answer. Now the question is, how do I find the other answer?
You need to find two that have X.
So now, where is x at? Where is x at? X, is it on the inside or is it on the outside?
The outside.
It's on the outside. It's right here. Now find the two colors that it's between. It's between, on mine, it's between purple and orange.
So that would be 38 equals.
So it would be between purple and orange up here. So it's going to match up with this one. You've got to match it up with the correct outside piece. So it's between purple and orange, so it's got to be between purple and orange. That's why I said you need three completely different colors. So now I'm going to set this equal to this, just like I did with the other equation. So it's now going to be 2y plus x equal to 38.4. So I took the bottom one and set it equal to the top one. Now what do I do? How can I solve it if it's got both x and y?
Minus 1. Subtract. Wait, no.
Oh, act like, do it again.
Substitution. I already know why. Plug it in. Plug this in because you already know it. All you gotta do is plug it in and finish solving. So now it becomes 2 times 13 plus x equals 38.4. So since I knew y, I took out my y and substituted in the 13. So what is 2 times 13? 26. So it now says 26 plus x equals 38.4. Now, how do I get x by itself? Subtract what? Subtract your 26. So move this over. So subtract 26. So now x equals what? 12.4. That's exactly right, Marvin. 12.4. So I found both of them. That's all I had to do. Now what happens if you do not set up the equations correctly? What happens if I use the wrong side? Instead of using 38.4, I use what was going on. What if I use 54? That's going to be wrong. I may find an answer, but it's going to be wrong. So it helps. I'll move it back in a second if you need it. It helps a lot if you will do this. I don't just color code things for the fun of it. It helps you a lot to see what you're dealing with. So does this make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's try another one. Like I said, these are not hard. So here's another one. This time we're going to be looking at the diagram triangle ITP, and it's going to be congruent to the triangle NGO. And again, we want to find the values of x and y. So we're going to do the exact same thing again. So get this copied, and I'm going to slide it over, and I'm going to let you copy the two triangles.
That's an I and a T.
That is an I, a T, and a P. I just go with whatever they have. And that's what they chose to use this time. So I, T, and P is congruent to N, G, and O. Okay, so as soon as you get that copied, I'm going to slide it over. Okay, is there anybody still copying this? Okay. Here are your triangles. You got got T and P in the first one, and you got N, G, and O in the second one. If you cannot read it, let me know, and I will tell you what it says. Because a lot of times when I copy it on the copier, it doesn't come out as clear as it needs to be. So if you can't read it, let me know. We're going to do this one just like we did the last one. We're going to mark our angles. We're going to find the pieces that match. We're going to set up our equation.
The 6y minus 14 is inside there.
Do what now?
The 6y minus 14.
Yeah, that's supposed to be inside on letter O. Yeah, a lot of times it won't fit, so we have to draw arrows to make sure you know where they go. Okay. So let's start looking at this one. Now, what pieces are matching up? We've got, in our problem it said, I matched with N. So I need to put a mark on I and one on N. Because I know those two were both first, so I know they both matched. What came second? T and G. So I'm putting one on T and one on G. So I know those two match. And then finally, the last one that they gave us was P and O. So I know P is going to match with O. So now I know every angle that matches. So again, when you look at these, do you see one color in both triangles that has something in that angle? So does the blue have something in both angles? No. Does the purple have something in both angles? No. Does the orange?
Yes.
Yes. So I need to set up an equation matching up these two orange pieces. So again, set it up. So I'm going to say the 6y minus 14, that was on the outside of the second triangle. That was telling me that was the angle from the inside. And it's going to be equal to the 40. So those were the two pieces that I had marked in orange. So one more time, all you got to do is solve the equation. So what do I need to get rid of?
Plus 14.
I need to get rid of the minus 14 by, yes, adding 14. So now I have 6y equal to 54. So again, if they are side by side, that's multiply. So we divide. So then y equals 9. Yes, Martin, that is correct. So I end up with y equals 9. So we know y, we just got to find x. So where is the purple. So between the blue and the purple on this one is 7.5. So I'm going to set this one equal to 7.5. So that's all I got to do. So now I'm going to set up my second equation of x minus 2y equals 7.5. So I took the second equation, the second triangle, set it equal to the first one. Now, what do?
You change that y into.
Okay, we substitute because we already know what y is. So now I'm going to substitute this in. So I'm going to take this 9 and I'm going to put it where my y is. You already got all this? Not break time. So it's going to be x minus 2 times 9 equals 7.5. So now 2 times 9 is 18. So I've got x minus 18 equals 7.5.
Then you're going to add 18.
So now add 18 to both sides. So then x is going to equal 25.5. That's exactly right. So again, they're not complicated. As long as you can match them up correctly, there shouldn't be a problem with it. So are we good? Okay, good, because now it's your turn.
Yay.
So, let me find the one I had. I had to draw this one myself because that was all that I had. So, in this problem, in this one, you now have triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Okay? And again, I need you to find X and Y. Same exact situation that you had a while ago. So we know these two. We're going to find X and Y. I'm about to give you the triangles. So I'm going to have to draw these because this is an extra one I had to pull out of my hat this morning that I didn't have already drawn. So, has everybody got this written? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's not in here.
I just make sure I was in the standings. I keep on hearing that every time I'm in class.
Well, it's coming from somebody else's room, and we've had that numerous times in years past. And every time I say something, they say, well, they're not doing anything, and we're going, well, it's funny how it's in my room. Hey.
I just making sure I wasn't insane.
No, you're not insane. Okay. Now on this one. First one, you've got triangle ABC. We got 14, 26, and 42. Make sure y'all can see it at home. C is 40 degrees. A is 80 degrees. And B is 60 degrees. Okay, so there's your first triangle. So get that one drawn. And gonna slide it over and I'm gonna put DEF up here. We all need new seats.
Here's the upside down thing.
Yes.
No, it's
I
upside
feel
down.
like the move the decimal is easier than the ones with the whole number. No, this one is easy. No, it's just different.
Okay, angle D right here is x minus 3. Okay, now I need you to find x and y. So I've given you everything you need. So now I need you to solve this one. Just like we were doing a while ago. Mark your angles. You should have them on your paper, so you should know what's what. So you should be able to match up the angles, start with what's on the inside, and then go from there. So once you have found the first piece, remember you gotta match up the second piece, and you'll have to do some substitution. So keep your answers to yourself for a few minutes until everybody's done, and we are ready. Okay, start with that one. What did I tell you to do first? Match up your angle. Okay, so is this on the inside? So then why are you starting there? You gotta start with what's on the inside. So which angle has something in both? Yes. Sometimes you'll start with X, sometimes you'll start with Y. It really doesn't matter. Whatever's on the inside is the one you gotta start with. And if that, it ain't gonna do a Y, it's just about your positive right now, you gotta scrap it. Come on. Come on. I will tell you one of the answers is a 3-digit number. One is a 2-digit, one is a 3-digit. Your Y is still a negative. You can bring it down. They are both positive answers. So they are both negatives right now. And now how do you get rid of this one? That's not -1. Okay, you got this piece. Now what do you do? Find the second one. This is between blue and orange. So now it's gonna match up with what's between blue and orange. So make that equation.
Here's another one.
So, divide by -2. Remember, that's an understood one there. everybody good at home? Okay. Just a second, we'll give answers, so hold on to them just a second.
With this y thing negative? Is the y
For your final answer?
Yeah.
No.
It should be positive?
Y, X and Y are both positive answers in your final answer. If you got a negative, it's because you did not pull down Y.
I didn't do y.
Y is negative right here. So now you gotta get rid of that. Well, no, it's negative here. Remember, that's like a negative 1. So how do you get rid of a negative 1? Divide.
Wait.
What is that? I know, right?
I didn't say nothing.
It's already positive. So why did you add it?
So when I just moved the 166 over here,
Mm-hmm.
that would make it a negative.
Mm-hmm.
But you said the answer was positive.
Uh-huh.
So what am I doing
That's
wrong?
because Y, you hadn't finished Y. Y is a negative right here.
I'm confirmed.
That's like negative 1.
Wait, hold. This right here,
That one is, that one's not.
How? What's that right?
So is this right?
All over my face? Don't have me wrong?
Is this right?
So you didn't set it up with the right one.
Yes, I did. I need to remember myself, baby. Oh.
Uh-huh. Don't say yeah, dear, when you set up with the wrong side. That's an inside. You're doing outside.
So I'm using 26.
Well, is it between, this is between blue and purple. What's blue and purple?
26.
That's not blue and purple.
Oh, 42.
Yeah, so it should be said equal to purple, to 42. What is y'all doing?
You don't know.
We ain't paying attention.
Do I got the right answer? I know that ain't probably.
Yeah, okay, let's see if we can, check these or correct these, whichever one may entail. Okay, so now, on this one, they told us that A was supposed to match up with D. So I should have one mark on A and one on D. So I marked both of those in orange. Now they're telling me that B should match up with E. So I'm going to put a red mark on B and E. Then they're telling me that C matched up with F. So I've got C and F. So I know exactly which pieces went together. Now I told you to start on the inside. So, out of these 3 angles, which one had something in both triangles in that color? It was A and D, or in my case, it was the orange one. Okay? So, if I looked, this was the only one right here that has something in the same exact color in both triangles. The blue one did not, the red one did not, but only the orange one. Yours should have happened the same way. So I should match those 2 up. So I simply should have said x minus 3 equals 80. I just matched up both triangles. Now most of you got this. It was the second part that threw some of you off. So from here, I simply need to add 3. So now I ended up with x equals 83. So I've got one answer. Now I need to find the second one. The second one is now matching the outside. Now, my outside is over here on my triangle between blue and red. What does it match up over here between blue and red? The 42. I've got to make sure I match them up correctly. I can't match it up with 26. I can't match it up with 14 because if I do, it's not going to come out right. I've got to match up red and blue with red and blue right here. So I've got to say 2x minus y equals 42. Then I can start solving. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say 2x minus y equals 42. That's now my new problem. And then this time I know x. So make sure you're careful. You knew what x was. So now put it in place of x. So now this is going to go over here for x. So now it's going to be 2 times 83 minus y equals 42. Well, what's 2 times 83? 166 minus y equals 42. Now, a lot of you got here. It's after this point that you started getting confused. I need to get rid of this. Is this positive or negative? Positive. This is positive. This has absolutely nothing to do with it. That's all y. This is a positive 166, so I need to get rid of it. So I am subtracting it from both sides. Now, here's another problem. All of this is still here. That sign has not disappeared. Some of you threw it away and acted like it never existed. That sign is still here. So I've got negative y equals what now? Negative 124. But I can't stop. This is the same thing as this, if this said negative 2y. If it said negative 8y. I can't quit. Because right now it says negative 1y. How do we get rid of it? We divide. So divide by negative 1. So negative 124 divided by negative 1 leaves me with positive 124. So you've got to be careful with your signs. So you've got to make sure you set it equal to the right piece, and you've got to watch these signs. They're not complicated problems, but if you do not set them up right, and you do not follow through correctly, you are not going to come out with the right answer. So, any questions? Okay. Then you got 4. You got 4 of these. Whenever I remember where I put them, that would help. You got 4 of these to do for homework. Technically, I had more than this to cover, but we didn't get very far today. So, I will post this, but here is the first one if you want to go ahead and get started. I mean, the rest of this just says find the value of x and y. So, if you know, the main thing you need right here is you need to know that ABC is congruent to DEF, and you need to know your triangles. The rest of it is, again, just finding x and y. And you've got 4 of these. I think you can handle 4. Huh? We did 3. So you've got a whole 7 problems all day. So,